Rejane had a near-death experience, the famous NDE, at the age of 24 due to an ectopic pregnancy. While she was on the operating table, she felt unbearable pain. In her desperation, she began to pray. Amidst the tears, she suddenly found herself outside of her body, observing the surgery. However, this was only the beginning of what would become the greatest experience of her life. It profoundly changed her perception of death, bringing her a new understanding of what the soul is and offering comfort in knowing that others had gone through similar situations. Hello, I'm Marcus, and it's a pleasure to welcome you here to Beyond the Life We Live. I hope you feel at home and absorb the lesson from this story we are about to tell. While you're here, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel, as it is very important to us and helps us bring new and impactful stories to you. Everything began when she had a cardiac arrest and was resuscitated, being taken straight to the operating table. Although anesthetized, Rejane woke up while the doctors were cutting into her abdomen. She was conscious but unable to communicate or move, making the situation terrifying and unbearable. Rejane felt the excruciating pain of having her abdomen cut open, and when the doctor started suctioning the blood, she was overwhelmed by despair and began to pray. At that moment, she found herself leaving her body and observing the scene from above. The first thing she noticed was, surprisingly, how detached she felt from her physical body, which, from her perspective, seemed like a worn-out garment to be discarded. Then she saw the doctors operating and heard one of them mentioning that she was waking up, although she was already conscious, witnessing everything that was happening. She also noticed that there weren't just the 3 doctors around her, but 2 more luminous figures. At that moment, she began to be drawn into a tunnel. The tunnel appeared as a spiral of light, and despite the chaos within, she felt pleasant, seeing quick flashes mixed with moments from her life, including her wedding. Finally, Rejane arrived at a place of inexplicable peace. The ground, although reminiscent of terrain, had strange characteristics. In the distance, she saw a bright light that drew her in. As the light approached, she realized that these lights were actually human figures dressed in white. When they were about 20 meters away, she recognized her grandmother among them, who had passed away when she was 10 years old, and her grandfather, who had died when she was 7. Other figures from her childhood were also present. Rejane's grandmother came to her smiling and embraced her. However, she turned her towards the tunnel and told her that it was not her time yet and that she needed to return. After that, everything went dark. In the hospital, Rejane was in a coma for a long time, and after waking up, she spent another month hospitalized. Later, trying to make sense of the experience by talking with her sister, she said that despite waking from the coma, Rejane was confused and less communicative, very different from how she was before. Later, when she visited the doctor, Rejane shared the conversation she overheard during the surgery, including specific details they had discussed about some clots in her abdomen, and the doctor apologized and attributed the experience to the effects of the anesthesia, suggesting that she might have been delirious. Rejane also mentioned her experience in a consultation with a psychiatrist who explained that endorphins can multiply in the brain in near-death situations, causing these hallucinations. Although initially satisfied with this explanation, Rejane spent years not thinking much about the experience, influenced by her family and ex-husband who did not believe in her experience, thinking it might be the result of delirium or after effects. But she always kept her experience to herself, believing it could be a natural protection of the body in the face of imminent death. However, by watching NDE channels, she found comforted in seeing that many other people had similar experiences. This encouraged her to speak more openly about what happened, especially in the last 4 or 5 years leading to this account. Later, reflecting on what she went through, she realized one detail. In that place, there was no time as we know it. It was something very different and difficult to explain.